I get it, you've probably stared at a dozen pool control panels online, wondering if you'll end up spending a ton of money on a system that ends up gathering dust while the old manual switches stay in place. The fear of buying the wrong tech is real, especially when it sits outside your home and has to survive sun, rain, and the occasional splash of chlorine. If you're looking for a way to actually simplify your pool and spa routine without turning it into a pricey experiment, keep listening. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What we're talking about here is the Jandy AquaLink RS4 OneTouch Upgrade Kit, Revision QQ. It's marketed as a one-touch solution that lets you control pumps, lights, waterfalls, and even the heater from a single handheld device. The idea sounds perfect for anyone who's tired of juggling 3 or 4 wall-mounted switches every time they want to heat the spa, turn on the night light, or fire up the fountain. But the real question is, does it actually deliver that convenience in everyday life, or is it just another gadget that promises more than it can reliably do? First, let's look at the installation side of things because that's where many DIY pool owners hit a wall. The kit comes with everything you need: controller, wiring harnesses, waterproof connectors, and a quick start guide that's written in plain English rather than engineering jargon. I've seen a lot of plug-and-play kits that still require you to hunt down extra parts or call an electrician, but this one really does bundle the critical components. In practice, a homeowner with basic electrical knowledge can finish the install in an afternoon, provided they already have the existing Jandy equipment in place. The biggest hidden step is making sure your pool's existing control board is compatible. The RS4 works best when it replaces an older Jandy controller rather than trying to retrofit onto a completely different brand. If your system is a mix of generic relays and a non-Jandy controller, you'll probably need an additional interface, which adds cost and complexity. Assuming the hardware lines up, the day-to-day experience is where the OneTouch truly shines. The handheld remote has a clear LCD layout with 4 big icons: pump, light, spa, and water feature. You press a button, and the selected component toggles on or off. There's also a short press/long press distinction that lets you set a timer press and hold for a 30-minute run, for example. In my own testing, I could dim the pool lights to a soft blue, fire up the waterfall, and bring the spa heater online all in under a minute without ever stepping out of the pool deck. For families with kids, that means you can keep the water moving for safety while you're still inside, and for hosts, you can switch the mood lighting just as the guests arrive. The remote's range is solid. I could be standing on the patio with a drink in hand and still get a reliable signal. Now, let's talk about the practical downsides. The biggest complaint I've heard from a few forum threads is that the remote's battery life can be surprisingly short if you use the timer feature heavily. The device uses a standard AA battery, which is easy to replace, but under constant use the battery can drain in a few weeks rather than months. That's something to factor in if you plan to use the remote as a primary control instead of just a backup. Another nuance is the learning curve for the timer function. The short press versus long press isn't obvious at first glance, and there's no audible click to confirm the mode change. It takes a couple of minutes of trial to avoid accidentally setting a 30-minute run when you only meant a quick on-off. It's not a deal breaker, but it does mean you shouldn't expect the device to be completely intuitive out of the box. Who should seriously consider this kit? If you already have a Jandy system installed, especially a Jandy control board from the last decade, you're a prime candidate. The upgrade adds automation without forcing you to rip out your existing wiring, and the energy-saving potential is real. For example, you can schedule the pump to run only during off-peak electricity hours, or you can program the lights to turn off automatically after midnight, which can shave a noticeable amount off your monthly utility bill. Homeowners who enjoy spending time by the pool rather than fiddling with switches will appreciate the convenience. Also, if you're building a new pool and have already decided on Jandy equipment, tacking on the RS4 OneTouch from the start gives you a unified control experience that looks cleaner than a wall of separate toggles. On the flip side, if you're a DIY enthusiast with a mixed brand setup, say, a Pentair pump, a separate spa heater, and a generic LED lighting controller, the RS4 might end up being a compatibility headache. You'd either need a separate bridge module, or you might simply be better off investing in a brand-agnostic smart home hub that can talk to all your devices. Similarly, if you're